All right, here I am at the Windsor Highway and Royston Road railroad crossing here in Potterville, Michigan. Now, this railroad crossing right here is a rather neat setup and a crossing that I've been wanting to check out lately, owned by the CN Flint subdivision, which is this, and this right here is pretty much just the west portion of the Flint subdivision, where the action is slightly different from my hometown per se. And I've also been getting a couple of requests to come over to this little spot right here in Potterville and check out this crossing, because not only we have this cool crossing right here, we have the control point Maple control point, which is the control point which is just east of the actual Potterville control point, which is just down there, which is the control point where the line becomes one track again. So this crossing, other than the setup, a weird intersection setup, this features some pretty substantial equipment. Nothing too special, but some unique features as well. And I thought it was pretty neat, since this is kind of an isolated area, and this is how they installed like an intersection crossing, which is with 3 gated signals and 1 mast signal, which is a little odd. And I guess I'll explain that the reason why it's set up like this in a minute. And usually in big city areas for intersection railroad crossings like these, they would put like traffic lights up and cantilevers and other fancy crap like this. But this one is just like a pretty straightforward setup. So I guess with that said, I'll explain as I go on. So with that said, let's get to it. So for the first signal, this has a SafeTran base, and here's the emergency information, the dot number for Windsor Highway, and the dot number is 283624W. And yes, I said for Windsor Highway because the dot number is different for Royston Road. And you can see that on the mast itself, you can see that there's like a sticker, individual stickers on the mast for the dot number, which is quite interesting. And for the gate mechanism, this has a us&s Model 95 gate mechanism with the general signals gate arm bracket and gate holder. And the gate features some Ricoh LED gate lights and a wind guard on the mast. And for the lights, this has 2 pairs of SafeTran 12x24-inch Harman fading LEDs. As you can see, the Harman uniform fading LEDs. And these lights are sitting on a SafeTran light bracket. Well, these fade slightly, and after like a few cycles, they flash on and off like regular GE uniform LEDs. But you can see from the lens, these are the older, like Harman-made ones. And for a bell, this has a SafeTran Type 3 electronic bell, low tone. So yeah, and I guess with that said, this was the first signal on Windsor Highway. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next gated signal. I'll move on to the mast signal last, so that leaves me room to explain the funky wiring that this crossing has. So yeah, I guess with that said, let's wait for some cars to clear and move on. This is a busy intersection, busier than I thought. So yeah, let's go ahead and sprint over here. I might have to hurry this up because I do have another westbound coming, and this is middle of a day rush hour traffic, which is interesting. Usually rush hour happens early in the morning and late at night on the Flint sub, but this time we have a rush of traffic because there was a work block in place, but now that block has been lifted, so we're gonna get some action here in a bit. So I guess with that said, let's move on to the next signal, which is the next gated signal, which is located on Royston Road. So for this signal, this one also has another SafeTran base. And here's the emergency information, the dot tag for Royston Road, and the dot number is 283623P. And once again, you can see it's plastered on the mast as well, on the mast itself. And as you can see, guys, slightly unrelated to the crossing, but to the road itself, as you can see, there are stop signs in place for Royston Road, but Windsor Highway, they can just go straight through. So this is a 2-way stop intersection, which is kind of cool. And I guess that also answers some questions about the funky setup in this crossing, which once again, I'll explain towards the end. And for the gate mechanism, this has another us&s Model 95 gate mechanism, which is a slightly different color from the other one. Regardless, that this setup or the signal is similar to the first one I toured. And the gate features some more Ricoh LED gate lights and a wind guard. And for the lights, this has 2 more pairs of SafeTran 12x24-inch Harman uniform fading LEDs, all sitting on a SafeTran light bracket. Or these could be just the GE uniform LEDs. Either way, it's like very similar to the GE uniform, but these were the Harman-made ones, I believe. And for a bell, this one also has a SafeTran Type 3 electronic bell, low tone. And this appears to be like, I'd say, a late 2000s install, if I had to guess. Quite interesting stuff. I'm not totally sure what used to be here in the past. Most likely mechanical bells and 8-inch lights. Maybe this crossing was gateless back then, but I could be wrong. So yeah, I guess with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next signal, or the final signal on Windsor Highway. So that was pretty much the first signal on Royston Road, which was similar to the first signal. Now for the next signal, which is once again similar, this one's pretty much the same. Once again, another Safe-Tran base. And this signal has no dot tag on it, but it has the dot number on the mast itself, which is a little odd. Odd at the fact that it doesn't have a dot tag. It might have got stolen. I don't know. Who knows what happened to it, if it even had one in the first place. So yeah, in the gate mechanism, this has another us&s Model 95 gate mechanism. Once again with the general signals gate arm bracket and the gate holder like the others. And the gate features some NEG LED gate lights and a wind guard on the mast. And for the lights, this has two more pairs of Safe-Tran 12 by 24 inch Harman uniform fading LEDs sitting on a Safe-Tran light bracket. And for a bell, other than the gate lights, this one's slightly different. This one has a General Signals Type 2 electronic bell set on high volume. It still sounds pretty healthy. Maybe this bell is the remaining one after those other two bells were replaced by Safe-Tran Type 3s. So yeah, I guess with that said, that was the two signals on Windsor Highway. Now let's go ahead and tour the final signal, which is the lone mast signal on Royston Road. Once again, here's the street sign and stop sign for this intersection crossing. So, and here's the last signal, which is not similar to the other two, or other three per se. And this one has another Safe-Tran base. It's probably the only similarity, as well as the lights, which I kind of spoiled that. But here's the dot tag once again for Royston Road and the dot number on the mast. And for the lights, this has two more pairs of Safe-Tran 12 by 24 inch Harman uniform fading LEDs, all sitting on a Safe-Tran light bracket. And once again, and this signal, like I said, has no gate mechanism. And for a bell, this has a Siemens electronic bell, low tone, set on low volume. Well, not low volume, but like it's loud, but it's not super loud. So yeah, that right there is the final signal. Now, I guess with that said, I guess you guys are maybe wondering, why is the crossing set up like this? Well, first of all, the reason why it's set up like this, because I believe the mast signal allows cars to turn right while a train is going through, which I think is kind of cool, because if there's a train going through and you want to turn right, but yet, you know, there's a train going through and that's not in your way, then you could just turn right without a gate being in your face. Unlike over there, in which you could probably try turning left not left, right when there's a train going through, but you can't. Once again, here you could try turning left here and turning left here, but then again, there's probably not a lot of wiggle room because there's not a lot of road to turn on. So basically, this mast signal right here just kind of gives the people on the isolated Royston Road the right of way. Now, I guess with that out of the way, now it's to explain the bell wiring. The bell wiring is quite unique at this crossing. So all the bells on the gated signals, those three bells ring, only ring during activation. And by that, I mean they only ring while the gates are going down and they don't ring again after that. But the bell on the mast signal keeps ringing all the way through until the gates start rising on these three mast signals. They all rise up and down in unison, and same goes with the lights. So this crossing is not on separate flash relays like a typical Flint sub crossing, which is surprising. But they do, some of the lights do run on crisscross flashers as well as the gate lights. But it's still surprising to see everything so in unison here. It's kind of neat. So yeah, I guess with that said, this was the equipment to show at Royston Road and Windsor Highway. Here's the relay case sitting at milepost 210.46, and you can see the funky name lettering and the CN and GTW sticker. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the track view. Down there is heading west towards another crossing. Oh, that guy's like whistling. So that heads towards another crossing at a highway. I'm not sure, I forgot what name it was, but you can see it right down there. And right here is the Maple control point, which is pretty much the control point right after the actual Potterville control point at the split off tracks down there, which turns into one. You can see the double crossover, and we still do have a train lined. So yeah, there's a crossing once again, and it also goes underneath a bridge, which I think is I-69 South. And down there is heading east towards another crossing, or a curve, at, once again, I forgot the road name, but I'll probably put it in the description. But yeah, this heads east towards more crossings and eventually towards the Lansing area, while down there, the west side eventually heads towards Charlotte. So yeah, I guess with all that said and explained, this was the neat Flint sub crossing here at Control Point Maple, located at Windsor Highway and Royston Road in Potterville, Michigan. Pretty neat stuff. I am going to get this crossing in action here soon again, and I'll have videos coming out. So I guess with that said, over and out.